the live button.
No, I'll tell you this: we're keeping Ryan Gosling, but we're giving back Ryan Reynolds.
That's
Canada
right.
can have him.
Yeah. Screw
We're
that
done
guy.
with him.
Screw him. Yep.
Yep.
But
All right.
but Australian people, we got to talk about.
Oh yes, Australian people. Speaking of Australians, welcome to the second episode of Mad EPAP. Meaning every paragraph a pause. It's not really every paragraph. We're probably going to do it every third word. He's still in episode 1, which you haven't seen, but you will.
Well,
we could change it to Mad Pad, and it'd be every paragraph a discussion.
Oh, Mad Pad. No, that just sounds like I'm gonna start banging people here.
No, it sounds like a new
pause after paragraph.
MadPad sounds like one of those knockoff products you see on Amazon.
All right, granted, join whenever you want because this is yours, kinda. Like
Well,
adjacently.
We could get Smokey in here. He's like adjacent to it more.
Yeah, somebody invite him. God, I thought about it. I was like, no, New Zealand doesn't count. And plus, I made all those jokes about it having an Outback. I don't know if.
I bet they do have an Outback Steakhouse in New Zealand.
Oh, with the Awesome Blossom or the Bloomin' Onion. Which one is them?
Bloomin' Onion.
Bloomin' Onion, right?
Who's Awesome Blossom?
Probably another chain restaurant.
That sounds like a Texas chain restaurant kind of thing.
Is it not Chili's or Applebee's?
It might be
Could
Chili's.
Be Applebee's.
Chili's.
Could be Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, it may be Texas Roadhouse. You're right.
Chili's, Awesome Blossom.
Yep.
There it is.
Welcome back to Australian themed food in America. Too close to Matt Pat?
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean?
He's not doing anything anymore. Game Theory.
Who?
Game Theory.
I don't know who that is.
You wouldn't. You're not a gamer.
And he's never invited me on, so why would I know him? And anyway, all right, so what we're gonna do is very simple. Imp, because Imp is gonna be reading tonight's true story of the real Crocodile Dundee, the guy that what's his name? Hogan?
Paul
Hogan based his whole Crocodile Dundee thing on. We're gonna be reading about the guy that inspired that. And after editing and seeing how much I had to cut out of people fighting with me about how I pronounce words, Imp is going to be reading this week's.
Did you actually
on pronunciation?
Did you actually cut it out? I know you're too lazy. There was too much of it.
I cut out some of it.
You cut out none.
Oh no, I did. I cut out some shit.
Did you cut out recital?
Oh, I don't. Oh man, thanks for reminding me. I need to go cut that out.
Don't remind him.
Anyway, so Imp, take us away, brother.
Okay. So here we go.
By the way, I know we haven't even started. I'm already stopping it, but I'm so excited to hear Imp talk for more than 30 words per 3 hours.
You've gamed with me.
Oh,
the disdain.
You don't talk a lot during gaming either.
Did you catch the disdain in the response right there? Like, you've gamed with me. You.
But the funny part is he says it like he talks during gaming.
Yeah,
so he's just as quiet.
Anywho,
in his defense, he does talk more when we're gaming than he does on streams. Brahma, you're a little low. Ninja.
We good to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Georgian and Eva Ansel had their third child. He was blonde, blue-eyed, and they named him Rodney William Ansel.
That's a good name.
Rodney was a smart child who spent most of his time barefoot. He was not really school-oriented. That's not his thing. He would often blow off his studies and instead collect boxes of silkworms and care for his many pet wallabies.
Or as some people know them as wallabies.
Sure.
This is a weird kid.
Why? Because he's collecting silkworms to feed his
serial
pet
killer
wallabies?
behavior, man.
What? How is that serial killer?
Kind of serial killer behavior. Like,
if you have a lizard and if you collect crickets to feed a lizard, is that serial killer behavior or feeding your pet?
No, but if you're collecting silkworms to feed your pet wallabies,
Well, it was wallabies.
You said it could be wallabies.
Well, that was because it was a joke because to a backstage thing. I misspelled wallabies. I put a B instead of a B.
Okay. I'm just saying, this dude sounds like he likes his animals more than he likes people.
I kind of know people who were like that, but
I
not
hate
his
people like that.
He's the product of a penal colonist. That is true. But this was like the 70s though, or 50s.
Yep, it was 70s. Rod left his family at the age of 15, as far as I can tell, and moved to the Northern Territory where he learned the skills of being a cattle catcher. Catching cattle by hand is a rather
Well, hold on,
difficult.
Slender, what?
A cattle catcher?
Yes, a cattle catcher.
Like a dude on a dude ranch?
Like a cowboy, a rancher.
Yeah.
I'm
Cattle
sure Imp is
catcher?
going to describe what a cattle catcher is.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
Oh, okay.
Catching cattle by hand is a rather difficult process that involves approaching the animal and wrapping its tail around your hand, then faking one way and another until the now angry animal tries to shake you off and trips over itself and falls down.
Simple
Why-
explanation.
So it's a
Cow tip 'em.
professional. Yeah, it's a professional cow tipper.
Yeah.
Just like
Extra steps instead of waiting for the animal to go to sleep and knocking it over. You have
Or-
to
I'm
piss it
so
off
good at
first to
tipping
make it
cows.
trip.
I make them tip themselves.
Or I'm just going to throw that out here, a lasso.
Yeah, but they're
I
not
mean-
using a lasso. They're using its own tail.
I'm just saying, it seems like an easier, safer way to catch cattle.
One would think.
Maybe he doesn't have a horse.
Maybe he
Rope
doesn't have a
is,
horse.
pretty
Even
rare
if he doesn't
in
have
the
a
outback.
horse, even if he doesn't have a horse, it would still be easier to use a rope.
Maybe.
Yeah, man, put those silkworms to work.
Wouldn't that make it worse if you like harvested their silk then fed them to the wallabies?
You can make a rope though.
Oh, now I get why you're saying. I'm like, what is he supposed to like put it in his hand? Like, here, cattle, come taste the silkworm in my hand. Gotcha. You've been caught.
So Rod became very good at dealing with animals, and he spent the next few years working as a cattle catcher on different cattle stations and Aboriginal missions. In May of 1977, now living in Western Australia, Rod decided to take a fishing trip and told his girlfriend, and I quote, he'll be back in a few months. Now, everyone
A few
who knew
months.
Rod, everyone who knew
Okay.
Rod,
I love him.
Hmm.
Remember how this went last time?
yes,
There will be pauses.
Yes.
yeah, I know.
I imagine the time. I love the idea of a time where you can be like, all right, babe, I'm going on vacation for months without you. You cool? Cool.
You're
I'm
not
out.
invited. Can I come with? No.
No. I love you, but I love you from a distance. Like, that's when you can start back up. Yeah.
That's
In
your
May
cue.
Okay. Now everyone who knew Rod knew exactly what he was actually up to. He was going to poach crocodiles, which is illegal and punishable by a $2,000 fine or 6 months in jail. So Rod prepared.
Wait,
well for his-
2,000 like American dollars or Australian dollars?
would
What did I
imagine
put?
Australia. Well, you put the dollar sign, but that's
So yeah, 2,000 American.
the Australian currency is a dollar too, as well. So
Is it?
the Australian dollar, yeah.
I thought
That
they
w-
call them
all right.
buckaroos.
Yeah,
or
it's
some
the
shit.
Australian dollar. So, by the way, in current exchange rate, that would be $1,246.40 American.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, those guys get screwed over there on stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's 62 cents to the dollar.
I mean, we complain about price of video games over there. The base
Jeez,
version.
women do better than that.
We should tariff them.
Till
What
they
grandma
let their
you're
people
low?
have guns back.
It's as high as it gets, Mad. I don't know.
This is your cue.
So Rod prepared well for his journey. He stocked an 18-foot boat with supplies, took along 2 dogs for company, and brought a 12-foot dinghy in case of an emergency. Rod
That's
took
one
off
way.
and went up the estuaries of the Fitzmaurice. You know, normally I'd make a comment, Matt, about, you misspelled that, but I've seen some of the
Spelled
names.
what? Misspelled what?
Fitzmaurice.
Who?
But having seen a map of Australia and how they name some of their locations, I'm willing to bet that is not misspelled, and that is how it is spelled.
Yeah, Fitzmaurice. That's a real place.
I have no doubt.
We all know the Fitz movies.
I don't think we all know them.
No.
Yeah,
Cool
I
guys
don't.
do.
I don't think we do.
Is this better?
Then he was thrown from his boat to quote, "It was pretty quiet and something heaved up under the boat and threw me and the pups and all my stuff in the water. It is not known exactly what caused this incident, but Rob will later say it could only have been a whale."
Ah, the river whales of Australia.
Gotta watch out for those.
Also, when it's a quote, do it in the accent, Imp.
Oh boy.
I don't do accents.
I think we're asking a lot at this point.
Yeah, really. So the boat was ruined and Rod retrieved his dinghy, then grabbed a tin of powdered milk which he used to scoop the water from the dinghy. For the next 4 days,
How big is this tin of powdered milk that you can scoop water from a dinghy?
They're usually like 4-ounce cans.
Oh yeah,
least.
yeah. I was thinking
That would
like
take a
small one.
while.
I'm picturing a Hershey's chocolate mix, the powder.
That's actually that
Cocoa
would
mix?
be big. That would be bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, your family went with the powdered version. You couldn't spring for the
No.
syrup?
I remember when I went over to my poor friend's house, they would have it.
Oh, you know that
Or
the
friend's house.
Brahma. No, I had the powder too. I was a military. My dad was a sergeant. We had powder. You know who never had powder? Brahma.
Brahma.
Brahma,
you know,
Brahma
y-
never
y-
had powder.
You know, his family was always, and they always got the brand name too. Was that Hershey syrup, not the store brand?
Who makes hot chocolate with
I bet-
Hershey's syrup?
You make chocolate milk,
Oh.
Brahma.
No, he makes it with real chocolate that is flown in from.
I
Swiss.
used the powder for
think
hot
Brahma's
chocolate. I
gonna
used the
waste-
syrup for chocolate milk.
Yeah, you
Brahma
think
was
Brahma's
like-
gonna waste hours assembling hot chocolate. He gets that shit ready made.
No, Brahma had the hot chocolate that was powdered brought to him, and he spit it out and threw it on his mother. And he's like, "What is this? You get that Swiss chocolate and melt it."
Oh, finally a real Australian. Oi.
Oi.
Wait,
So real quick, Fitzmurray, real place?
Say it again.
Fitzmurray.
Fitzmurray, yeah. What about
Yep.
it?
Okay. Imp said it was a fake place. I said no.
It
I
it
did
isn't.
not say it was a fake
No, it's a real
place. I said, judging by the names of places in Australia, you didn't misspell it.
I didn't. I guess to catch you up, Grant. Rod, he's on a fishing trip. There's going to be a few months. He got hit by a river whale in his dinghy. He's in his dinghy now.
Yeah, that happens.
Them river whales, you gotta watch out for them.
Yep.
Looks
Yep.
like Sporking Show just finished up, and the raid is inbound.
Oh, I'm glad I just caught everybody up.
For the next 4 days, Rod and his dogs floated in the dinghy around the estuaries before.
Did we know
finally-
he had his dogs with him?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, are these like dogs or like DAWG dogs?
Dogs. I thought
Like,
you
is that
Oh,
why?
wait.
Is that why the girlfriend couldn't come? It was because like, hey, I'm hanging with my dogs.
It's a reasonable question because in Australia they also have dingoes that eat babies. So you have to
that was a real
clarify.
story. It was a horrible thing that happened.
I thought we were
maybe the dingo ate
ate
your
your
baby.
baby.
Also,
How
I
dare
was
you.
wondering if it was river dogs. Anyway, we can move on.
Well, dogs also can refer to cats as well.
Hold on.
so,
So,
Wait,
like, if
Hold-
something steals something from you, that's a thieving dog. So,
wait.
Ah,
You would
Well, hold on.
in Australia, you guys are so backwards. You call cats dogs?
That makes
no,
sense.
if a cat steals something from you, then a cat becomes a thieving dog. You thieving dog. So,
That makes sense. I'm following that.
And in
Yeah, no,
Elden
I get
Ring,
what-
a dog is a turtle.
Before finally paddling up an entrance to the
It's
river.
true.
So now Rod was stranded with only a swag, rifle, knife, and a can of peas and a
But-
box of
hold
weapons.
on.
He
and
still had his
dog.
swag.
He had his swag, but did he have his Riz?
No cap.
Oh,
I was reading what
man.
was written in
Can't-
front of me.
I mean, you're dumb if you go camping without your swag.
It's- you gotta
You're gonna
be
sleep
swagoo all day, every day.
Oh,
But you guys don't have swags over there?
I have no
I
idea
don't,
what that is.
I don't know
I
what
mean,
a swag
we-
is.
an individual can have swag, but you don't like.
No,
You can be
a
given
swag is
swag.
like it's a sleeping bag /tent that's waterproof.
Oh, okay. Over
And
here
mud-
we have
yeah.
sleeping bags and tents.
We
Yeah,
keep
Yeah, no,
them
this
we don't-
is a
separated.
small thing in one. Yeah, so you don't have
Is
the
it
ingenuity to be
combo?
able to make it into one. Yeah, it's
You
it's
gotta
it's
keep 'em
basically
separated.
a sleeping bag that has a little bit extra room in it.
So how does it
Oh,
keep? What
emus.
happens? Like if it's raining, I get that it's waterproof. Is there a cover for your head? Like how do you?
Yes, yeah, you can zip it up, and it also has a mattress within it, a thin one. So
That's actually pretty inventive for you guys.
I don't like it. It sounds like you're trying to get one thing to do too much.
Yeah, that's
Hold on,
true.
I am finding
it's
an
designed to
image
keep
of
you
it.
comfortable in uncomfortable things. That's literally its only purpose.
I thought a swag bag was something you got at a conference when people wanted to sell you a service.
Yeah, or like
Like
a
the Golden Globes or Oscars.
yeah,
Yeah, that might
Goodie
be what a swag
bags.
bag is, but that's not what we're talking about.
or like at a Brahma, childhood sleepover. All the kids would leave with a swag bag with their
No, there's no need
Atari
for
Jaguars.
presents. We'll be giving you bags.
with their Atari Jaguars as gift in the gift bags.
All right.
Always.
I'm gonna need Grant to confirm. Is this in fact a swag? Is that what it looks like?
Yeah, that's a swag. Yep.
That's just a tarp, like sleeping bag. This is. I thought it would be something like fancier.
You know what? Actually, I have seen one of those before.
So it's just a sleeping bag that has something you can drape over the top.
No, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait, it just looks like so it's a sleeping bag.
That's what I said. It's like a sleeping bag mixed with a tent because you got a
But
little
where's
bit of
the
extra room.
tent
Where does
part?
the tent? Yeah, where does the tent part
The
come in?
thing's at the foot and at the head where it raises up. Like the canoe shape.
So, bets on whether or not Grant ever comes to this show again?
So I'm trying to find. I don't want to go outside and put my one up, but I'm just going to try and find one that's actually put up.
Is this something
this-
Australians are standard
I was
issue?
going to say, do you guys just get these? Like, oh, you're 18 now. Here's your swag.
Here's
You
your
should. You have one
didgeridoo
before
and your
you're bloody
swag.
18. Why would you wait till you're 18?
Well,
Oh, you
I don't know if you're swag curious at a minor age if you're allowed to have one.
Here.
You can.
Yeah, are minors allowed to swag?
Oh, here we go. Oh, see, that makes that I get. That's a
That
tent.
looks more like a thing.
That looks
yeah.
like a tent.
Yeah,
That's not a
tent.
sleeping bag. That's a tent. You would still need a
Yeah.
sleeping bag
The
inside
sleeping
of
bag
it.
is a part. The sleeping bag is built into
It's
it.
part of the floor.
I'm saying it's
Oh,
part of it.
okay. I got you.
And there's a
That makes
mattress
sense.
built in there, and they're all rolls up.
Oh.
So
Back
Ooh,
when I did
fancy.
the
Yeah,
Viking
Can we just call that a
reenactment stuff,
tent?
I knew a guy who
No,
had one of
because
those.
you have
So-
tents that are just like tubes, or half tubes.
Without the sleeping bag part.
Yeah, that's why.
So
That's
that's a
that's the
swag
difference. It's
without
literally
the
the difference
optional
between a tent and a
extra.
swag. The sleeping bag part, which was the main thing that I just said.
Yeah, we refer to those as pup tents.
I love this is what bogged us down was swag.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they don't have pups there because everything's a dog.
fair.
Even the cats.
Including the cats.
Yeah, they're just called little dogs. except young kids are called pups, so it's kind of weird as well. So
And baby
On the
kangaroos are called joeys.
And they have a 2-pronged penis.
Nobody likes Joey's.
Didn't know that part.
What about Kanga and Roo? People like them.
All right.
as
Them,
much
you
as
wanna
they
treat
like
us
Mary and cans.
On the 5th day, he landed the dinghy and made camp on the bank of the river. Rod found a nearby source of fresh water, but the very high temperatures were making him sweat quite a bit, which was depleting his body's needed salt. Doing as any person would do in this situation, Rod shot a wild cow and sucked blood from its neck.
as one would.
Does it really? Did you write that, Matt?
Yes.
Is that what your script?
That's
said?
what
I'm
happened.
not changing any of this unless I'm trying to fix a grammar error or a spelling error.
Which I'm sure
Was-
there are a lot of.
No, there's
No,
not.
there's not a lot. I've found one misspelled word,
Boom.
and he
Shoot
forgot a
a
letter.
cow and suck his blood. So he was the chupacabra.
No, man, look. It's like the Gatorade of nature because it has the salt, and you need that salt for your enzymes, not enzymes, your shit inside your body.
And
Your
considering he's Aus-
electrolytes.
And considering he's
Yes,
Australian
naturalized.
slender, it's probably more of a bunyip than a chupacabra.
Couldn't he just
Yeah, I
have
couldn't agree
also like
They're much
cut
smaller though.
chunks
I
of
wouldn't
meat
be
out
afraid
and
of a
cooked
bunyip.
it?
I thought bunyips were
Right.
actually rather large.
No.
The name
they're
bunyip
tiny.
doesn't strike me as something that would be large and intimidating.
Oh,
That sounds kind of like a little baby rabbit.
the bunya's coming for your feet. Like what?
No, I just know it was a
Bunyip.
lake monster. That's all I know
Well,
about it.
No, that's why it's also called an ankle biter. That's how small it is.
Oh, like
Oh,
the
so it's a
vampires.
kid.
Yeah, that's
Or
where
a
we get the name
vampire.
from. So yeah.
He has food, he has water, and now he just needed to figure out his next move. I thought I'd sit out there and wait until the wet came in October. Then I'd have a chance to follow the wet season water holes down to Vic. As long as I didn't get too weak, I built sort of a treehouse.
How about
By
I do the quotes
treehouse.
from now on, since you don't want to do the accent,
Because I
so
can't
we know
do
when
one.
it's him. Quote: Thought I'd did it out there and wait until the wet came in October. Wait, what am I doing?
Don't we have
Yeah,
an
it sounds like you're
Australian-
from Minnesota.
No, hold
Minnesota
on.
Canadian.
Combination
We have an
Minnesota, South
Australian.
African.
No, I got it. I got it. It's better this
Hold
way.
on,
It's better
Matt.
this
I
way.
want to ask your new accented character what he
Uh-huh.
thinks of the tariffs that you're putting on the United States in retaliation. Because clearly
Oi,
you're from
mate,
Canada.
I think it's fucked up. Oi. Anyway, then I'd have a chance to follow the wet season water holes down to Vic as long as I didn't get too weak. I built short of a treehouse. I don't know. I kind of sort of want to go. You know what?
You're going
right. You should
half
just do it.
Minnesotan and half South African.
Yeah. I picked up on the South African. Why don't you just read it?
Yeah, he's channeling his inner DiCaprio from Blood Diamond.
Just try to make it to where inflect a little bit so we know that it's a quote.
I'll do what I can.
Thank you.
By treehouse, he meant he threaded some saplings through the fork of a tree to create an elevated platform for sleeping. It being Australia, a large tree snake also lived in the tree.
So
Occasionally,
he
the
had a
snake.
friend.
Yep. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
him, his dogs, his 2 dogs, and his tree snake.
Occasionally, the snake would come down to check out Rodney's dogs, but for the most part, they stuck to their own parts of the tree. Every once in a while,
I like the idea that they had boundaries. Like in sitcoms when the roommates had to split a room. Like there's Rod and the snake. He's like, "Oi, you don't cross this line."
This is your half of the tree. This is my half of the tree. This is the common area.
And then by the third segment or the last 15 minutes of the show, they kind of like, "Oh, I guess gotta hand you this across the line," and then they become friends again. Those are how those end.
every once in a while, crocodiles would come out of the water because they smelled the dogs, and Rod would have to climb up the tree with his dogs to stay safe. He began to vary his daily schedule to minimize the chances of
Wait,
crocodiles.
pause. So the dogs were able to climb the tree as well?
Yeah, he had a platform up there. Remember?
But how did they get to the platform?
Maybe he lifted them up.
They jump.
just
Dude, they're
lifts
kettle
them up,
dogs.
they
They can
jump?
jump like 6 foot tall, like standing
Oh.
still.
Oh shit,
I
Grant.
mean, a crocodile can stand like 6 feet tall.
Grant, have you ever been a cattle catcher?
No, I wouldn't do that. Too much work.
Because you got to grab the tail and whip him back and forth.
I mean, you
No, it's
basically
just
have
less
to
work.
casual Brahma the cow.
And then tip it.
It didn't sound that casual.
That's not what that means, but yeah.
And this. Boy, I'm getting an AI for next
He
time.
began to vary his daily schedule to minimize the chances of crocodiles learning his patterns. In the first week there, he
Wait,
shot
hold-
4 wild buffalo.
Can we go back to him like trying to confuse the alligators by changing his routines?
Dude, he was doing
Crocodiles.
random anti-terrorism measures on the crocodiles.
You never take the same route twice because the gators, they're gonna see it and they're gonna not gators, but crocodiles are gonna get you.
Well, the
Dog,
problem
today
is
you have to
the-
stand an extra hour of watch so that they don't know our rotation.
Oh,
With the crocodiles, they tend to, if you see something, say something. So you've got to mix it up with them.
I never realized crocodiles were that smart.
In the first week there, he shot 4 wild buffalo. He skinned each animal before he cut strips of flesh off and then would hang the meat in the sun to dry for several days. Not drive, Matt, dry. He also spent a lot of time foraging for wild foods. He found wild berries. One day, a 16-foot crocodile came after his dogs, and Rod was forced to shoot it.
Forced.
Is this
to
where
shoot.
he got
Damn.
the name Crocodile Dundee?
Well, he went there to poach crocodiles, anyways. It
Oh,
just
he's
so happens.
poaching?
Yeah.
No, that's why he went.
Yeah, he said
On
he
this
went
fishing
fishing, but
trip.
it even says earlier on, anybody who knew him knew exactly what he was going to go do.
Yeah, remember we found out that the fine would be $1,200 American dollars.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get a 16-foot crocodile, I mean, the corpse will pay for itself.
No, he went.
Not really. They're not
Unless
that.
you get caught,
Yeah.
then you don't get the money for the crocodile and you get the fine.
Yeah, but you just go poach one more. And don't get caught this time.
That
Right?
would be the smart thing.
That is technically how poaching is designed to work, I guess.
Right.
It's an illegal venture.
Rod, why are you going poaching for a 5th time? Because I got caught the last 4. I just need one of these to pan out, and I can pay off my fines.
With these fines, I gotta catch at least 2 now.
It's a vicious circle that they put me in by fining me for poaching crocodiles.
If they hadn't fined me, I'd have stopped at 1.
So it's really the authorities' fault when you think about it.
Yeah, it really is.
He did not want the smell of the crocodile to attract other crocodiles, so he disposed of the body. But like anyone would do, he kept the head as a souvenir.
I mean,
In one
you
of his
already
more-
have it. Hold on, before you get to because this next one's great. But
Yeah.
you already killed it. You have the dead body. Keep the head. I had a little crocodile head that I had in my
A
room.
rattlesnake head.
Say what?
That crocodile head. The head of an alligator. I think it was a gator.
You got to look at the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Pointy
gator.
nose, crocodile, rounded
Mhm.
rounded snout, alligator.
I
didn't-
find crocodiles less intimidating. Am I
But,
alone on that?
Australia doesn't have alligators, right? They just have crocodiles.
Well, it depends.
Sort of. We
because
have
there's
these weird-
saltwater crocodiles, and those I find those more intimidating because they're fucking huge.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, the saltwater crocs. You're talking about something that's like 15 to 20 yards long. It's ridiculous. Like
How many? What's that in feet?
I don't know, 60 feet.
60 feet.
60
That seems
feet.
a little bit big.
That's a
Yeah.
that's a little much.
They get pretty. I mean, they live in the
They
ocean.
they don't stop growing. So
They're
I
basically
think
dinosaurs.
the oldest one that they found was about 300 years old, and I think it was 102 foot long.
Good lord.
That's like kaiju territory.
Right?
Yeah, but I mean, this thing was so big that it couldn't get out of the water. That's what killed it. It tried to get out of the water, and its own weight killed it, crushed itself.
It beached.
Yeah,
So it lizzoed.
well, I mean, it lost the
Lizzo
weight, but
lost
it
a
did it
bunch.
through the means of death
I
and
forgot about that.
decomposition. So, yeah, like Lizzo. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Now then, this
In
next
one
part
of
I
his
love.
more dubious claims, Rod said he tied cotton from his shirt to a bee that was flying close to his dog's water and then followed the flying string to the beehive where he got honey.
Bullshit. Bullshit. This is
What?
Revenant level bullshit now.
Oh, how that could happen? You
That's-
put a little.
That's how they get rid of a lot of beehives and bee colonies. They capture one, they put a bit of cotton string to it, they chase it back to the hive, and then they gas the hive. It's
Why
a common
don't they
practice
just
done all around the
waterboard it
world.
until it tells them where the hive is?
I mean, you just put like cotton out as a trap. It flies through the cotton. You follow it back to the beehive. He flies in. People are like, "What is it?" He's like, "Man, it's so I'm so slow today. I don't know what's happening."
Oh my god, the silkworms again. It's like they're the
It
answer
all
to all his
ties back.
problems.
Even though he was eating a great diet of meat, berries, and honey, he still became weaker and weaker. Now, 7 weeks in, he was only able to catch one buffalo during his 8th week. Oh, wait. Not that. During his 8th week, he heard the sound of horse bells in the distance. He stumbled towards the sound and came across a group of people on horseback. They were on a trip to visit the group members' Aboriginal homeland, and they rescued Rod.
Oh,
Though he lost weight and was a bit weaker, Rod was in decent health after his ordeal.
yeah, because he Did you hear the amount of
Drank
food he
blood
has?
from the neck of a
Honey,
water buffalo.
berries, water buffaloes,
He had a whole. I mean, he
crocodiles.
had a whole cow for one person. That's a lot of food.
He didn't sound to me like he was starving or malnourished in the slightest.
He came home with leftovers.
Earlier, didn't he kill 5 buffalo?
4.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you got
know,
to get rid of the witnesses. So
I guess.
those are
Like
the water buffalo that saw him kill that crocodile.
yeah, it's
I
like
was
when you're
gonna say,
playing
didn't
Red
he
Dead.
say that
Red
was a
Dead 2.
16-footer? Like, that's good food.
Yeah, but only if you can keep it. Like the problem is, you kill that, and then within a day, unless you smoke the meat's gone bad.
Yeah,
True,
I suppose that's
Well, he was drying it out in the sun.
Yeah, he was drying out. It was drying out thin pieces of stuff that he could get from the skin.
Mm.
He wasn't. He didn't have a good enough knife to be able to do a full butchery on it.
Was it a spoon instead, like knifey spooning?
seems wasteful.
How dare you?
Me or Chad?
I don't
I
know
can
what
never
a
tell you
knifey
two apart, to be
spooning
honest,
is.
half the time. So
That's so fucked up.
You all
I'm
sound
way
alike
more
to me.
emotive than Chad.
True, but you're a package.
To be fair, he's not the first YouTuber that's had that problem. So
We're not going to talk about that right now.
Oh, what
know.
happened?
We've already
Oh,
discussed
I know.
this.
Sorry,
You
I know.
know.
It took me a second. I figured it out.
oh, Mad's the best. He eventually catches up.
2-3 dozen times he catches right on. He went home but
Right.
didn't talk about the
Right.
experience because he didn't want to worry his
You didn't
mother.
know.
What, Grant?
I heard
Did
Grant.
you grab another flag or something? You even copping strays from Imp.
I'm ignoring him because he is reading for me.
The
Eventually.
defeat in air coming into Im's lungs was perfect.
A quote from Rod, quote, all the blokes up in this country who work with cattle, ringers, stockmen, bull catchers, whatever, all of them have really narrow shaves all the time, but they never talk about it. I think the opinion is that if you come through in one piece and you're still alive, then nothing else really matters. It's like going out to shoot a kangaroo. You don't come back and say you missed by half an inch. You either got him or you didn't.
I feel like there was another legend that summed it up a little bit better. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. A win's a win.
Gandhi.
The famous quarter mile street racer. He lived his life a quarter mile at a time.
Are we talking about a certain Mr. Toretto?
No, Gandhi.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we already established it was Gandhi. Come
Slender,
on,
do
man,
you
keep
think
up.
Gandhi ever, when he finished up doing his thing, yelled at someone and be like, "Bring me a sandwich"?
Oh yeah, every time.
I bet he did yell Corona.
He was always really hungry after those hunger strikes.
And he kept asking people where the little red button was.
What?
What?
It's a civilization joke.
Oh, that's right, because Gandhi liked to drop nukes in the video game.
Yeah, since he was the biggest pacifist mankind's ever known was nuclear war happy.
It makes sense when you think about
Yeah.
it.
Right.
I get it.
So that is how he looked at it until the paper got a hold of the story, and that changed a lot of things. Yep, word was out. The story of his ordeal was written about at length in the local paper, and Rod's life would never be the same. He became a celebrity overnight.
By
The media
surviving.
the media were calling him a modern-day Robinson Crusoe. Rod was thinking the attention would fade away pretty quick, but that did not happen. Rod, the man who survived in the bush, remained in public consciousness. Then in 1979, Rod was asked to participate in a documentary film about his 8-week adventure. So Rod agreed to do this and went out reliving his experiences on film in what was released as a movie to fight the wild. The incredible story of Rod Ansell, starring Rod Ansell as Rod Ansell in a Rod Ansell film edited by Rod Ansell.
I added that a little bit.
I'm starting to think this has a lot of similarities to our Revenant story,
What?
and that
How?
he made this shit up.
Hold
No,
on.
he
He's
didn't.
basically the Dolomite of Australia.
He went. He survived in unsurvived. Wait, shit. There's some similarities.
Yeah.
No, there isn't. There's no bears.
Yep,
Can't.
no bears.
See?
Yep.
Did a
Checkmate.
crocodile casually Brahma this man?
And nor did
No,
it
because
steal
that's
his
why he's the
rifle.
crocodile man. He got past it. He wasn't get attacked by
I
some
promise
bear.
that's the end of the similarities.
Okay, we'll see.
Neil Breen.
And then there was a 1980 book with the same title that was released. The book was supposedly written by Rod.
It
The
was
once
not.
rather secluded Rod was now loving his celebrity status, and of course he had to tell his tale of survival over and over and over. And nearly every time he did, the details would become more incredible.
Because you remember more things about what happened. That's common with everyone.
This is
Everyone
something.
knows this.
But
I
the
don't like
public
this.
couldn't get enough of this charismatic bushman. In 1981, he was flown to Sydney to be on Michael Parkinson's talk show. Of course, he tried to board the plane barefooted. The ground crew requested that he put on some sort of footwear, so Rod reluctantly put on a pair of thongs.
Flip-flops for the Americans.
Yeah, he
Oh,
wasn't
is-
some weirdo.
Hold
He
on,
liked his
wait.
feet being protected every now and then.
What do we call flip flops in Australia?
They're
Thongs.
called thongs.
Songs.
So Cisco was talking about flip flops.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dun, 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 dun.
He likes to see women on
Well,
the
if he
beach
was
with
Australian.
proper footwear.
When that
Sounds pretty
song was
obvious.
released in
What?
Australia, did it cause any confusion, Grant?
Yeah, a lot actually. It was quite funny
Oi.
because songs in Australia are just called G strings. So
Oh, why is he asking all these chicks to put thongs up
So,
their ass?
She's like, Cisco, is that the rapper with that foot fetish?
yeah,
But as soon as he got on the ramp, he threw them away. He was also barefoot on the talk show, and the audience ate it up. What a fun and crazy guy he was. He entertained them with a story of how
Real quick, I just love Im's reading of that. What a fun and crazy
What a
guy
fun and
he was.
crazy guy he was.
What a
Like-
wild and crazy guy.
he was very nice.
he entertained them with a story of how a bed was too soft, which led him to sleep on the floor in his sleeping bag. He
Oh,
talked about
I'm not used to such a soft bed. I'm used
Wait,
to a
wasn't-
tree house with my
didn't-
roommate,
Hold
the
on, with
snake.
With my snake.
Didn't they do that in the Crocodile Dundee movie? Where he,
We'll get to it.
yeah.
Dude, I hate these because when I get the real story, I hear the details that weren't in the movie, and I start to think to myself, "This guy's full of shit."
But in the
And right now,
Crocodile
I'm thinking to
Dundee,
myself, "This guy's full of shit."
yeah, but they made a movie.
Oh,
that
but
was
I'm
a
sure if it was
comedy.
in an anime, you'd eat it fucking up, wouldn't you?
I don't expect those to be the truth.
Small Town Republic. A swag was too
was-
nice for him.
Yeah, he just had to do the sleeping bag.
He talked about not understanding what the bidet in the hotel was for. The audience ate it up. When Michael Parkinson asked Rod how he passed the time in the remote bush, he fell to the floor and did one-handed push-ups with a 5-cent coin between his teeth.
Why? Why the
Yeah.
5-cent coin?
Yeah.
Also, that's called a nickel.
No, it's just called 5 cents over here.
Remember, it's a whole other currency, man.
Oh, okay.
We
The-
called it a nickel because we made them from nickel.
Yeah. Bonus history for you folks. The bonus fact.
So they call it 5 cents because they made it from cents?
They made it. It's how much it's worth.
Like a 5 pence
No sense.
Or
Pence is a
shilling.
different one.
or all your. I guess you do use Australian dollars. You just call them dollars. Got it.
Are they not like
Dollary
bungaroos?
dues.
Yeah,
I think
dollary
they're just
dues?
dollars.
Dollary dues.
They're just dollars over there.
Dollary dues, buckaroos, didgeridoos.
Yeah, they didn't take any of my ideas. I'm just gonna call them dollars.
You lost the vote on the naming of the currency.
Oh, it was Mr. Bodie, but boat face one again. What
Yeah.
was that?
Dollar McDollar face one.
Rod met Joanne Van O's. I think that's how you say that.
Yeah, hose.
She was a
Boats and hoes?
22-year-old radio operator who was working in a remote Aboriginal community. Joanne said it was love at first sight. Rod was nothing like anyone she'd ever known.
I've
Wait,
never
where's
seen
the
you-
girlfriend?
Oh,
The one that he
Yeah.
left for 2 months?
you know
I
what?
guess there was a breakup at some point
I-
that was glossed over.
I mean, he was gone longer than what was expected, so she probably gave up on him. But
Oh,
now
she
he
went and
has
got married.
he has Joanne, who has never seen someone drop to do one arm push-ups with a 5-cent coin in his mouth, between his teeth. Very.
This is such bullshit. I'm sorry.
From what I've skimmed, Slender, it gets better.
Oh boy, yeah.
Oh yeah, if you're going, I don't believe any of this. You wait until it gets towards the ending.
Yep.
He was the oldest of
do it.
6 kids. Before becoming a radio operator, she had been working as a laboratory technician. So his lifestyle was completely alien to hers, and she found that attractive. They were quickly married and soon had 2 sons, Caleb and Sean. They spent their early years living together, quote, under a canvas sheet out in the bush with no electricity or water. They cooked using campfires and communicated over radio.
It's
The kids lived in the same sheet?
Yep. They all
That
lived.
seems- I don't
Seems
like,
like that first kid may have seen something he didn't want to.
I don't know how the age gap is, but yeah, one of them saw some shit that's gonna stay with them until something else happens, and that completely is overshadowed.
Between media appearances, Rod made a living hunting wild buffalo. Then in 1985, Rod combined his savings with money he borrowed and invested in a pastoral lease. That's a lease for land on which you will raise animals. For just under $16,000 a year, he got rights to 60,000 acres of land.
60,000 acres for 16,000 a year.
I'm pretty
This
sure
is why
that
you
most
can't
of
build
the
a house
acres are.
these days.
No, most of that is probably shit, like unlivable Australia that will kill you land.
You mean
You know,
Australia?
That's the
places he
entirety of
likes.
Australia.
That's the entire
Yeah.
continent,
Yeah.
even the cities.
It's
They
actually
had a
pretty fertile. It's actually pretty fertile up there.
Is that
yeah,
really him?
Yeah, that's him.
I don't know. Here, solo.
I don't think that is him.
Don't look into it.
I
What
think
do you
that's a lot. That's a Latvian dude.
Why do you think Mr. Grant Gregory is always on the internet? If he goes outside his house, he'll instantly die.
No, the real dude is.
Oh, now we're
Rod
trying to
Hansel.
find the real Crocodile Dundee.
No, I found this is the real guy. That's Rod.
That's
Normal
him
looking
when he's
dude.
not in the bush.
Well, yeah, because they don't have
imagine what he
cameras
looked
in the
like
bush.
with a beard and holding a crocodile.
Yeah, that's what Grant's picture is. All right, let's go on.
They had a homestead on which they raised their 2 sons. Filled with wild buffalo, this place was perfection to Rod. His plan was to capture and domesticate the wild animals, creating a big herd that he could sustainably farm and sell. But then
Good plan.
everything changed in 1986. That was the year Crocodile Dundee was
That's
released.
when the Fire Nation attacked.
Paul Hogan and other producers became aware of Rod when they saw him on a Michael
Hey,
Parkinson
God.
show.
He's clearly trying to look like Paul Hogan. Paul Hogan is look. Go on.
Hogan's character was clearly based on Rod, but producers insisted Mick Dundee was an original character, though they admitted that Rod's story of survival may have had some influence, especially his bushman in the big city antics on Parkinson's. Rod heard a radio interview in which his influence was stated, and he saw an opportunity. He and Joanne expanded the homestead, added 2 guest rooms with fans, running water, and even an indoor toilet.
Even an indoor toilet for the fancy
Man.
folk.
I mean,
Fancy.
that's like borderline Brahma family level living.
Yeah, did he
You
get
got
his
to
own
understand,
bidet?
while it was an inside toilet, there was no plumbing connected to it. It was a big issue.
It was just a toilet. It leads nowhere.
Just a hole in the ground.
Nah, mate, you're still gonna have to use the bucket to scoop it out and then take it outside.
You got to burn it when you're done.
The cement floor common room was decorated with an alligator skull, buffalo horns, a punching bag, and a variety of cassette music tapes ranging from Ravel to Meatloaf.
Real quick, who do you think was it Joanne or Rod that did the interior decorating of this?
Oh, we all know who did the decorating, and it was not Joanne.
Roger Clan was offered the opportunity to stay on the homestead and spend some time with the real Crocodile Dundee. He contacted Paul Hogan's office in Sydney as a courtesy and soon received a letter back. Stop being you. I'm not sure what. Sorry, mate, read the letter from Hogan's business partner. Sorry, mate, but you cannot use the name Crocodile Dundee in any advertising either in Australia or the USA. Lawyers would descend on you from a great height. Rod was stunned by the letter. He thought about what to do and just decided to put the real Crocodile Dundee in the brochure anyway. Quote, I mean, it's not like Hoogs. He calls him Hoogs. It's not like Hoogs ever called me up and said, "Hey, Rod, mind if I use bits and pieces of your
Hoogs.
story?"
My God.
What?
Hogs. Paul Hogan, Hogs.
Hogs.
Hughes. Yeah,
It's
I know.
got-
I'm trying to tell these Americans they're not listening to me, darling. Yeah.
I'm just reading it how it was spelled. It was spelled with 2 O's.
Oh, we gotta clip that.
Yeah, it's Hogue. See, even she knows. She's 5.
These Americans, they're not listening.
Look.
To
I know your child is a genius. She's at 5 years old. She's fluent in Australian and English. It's amazing.
And bad English.
So it's not like Hogs.
The band?
Ever called me up and said, "Hey, Rod, mind if I use bits and pieces of your story?" When I asked, I thought he'd say, "Yeah, sure, mate, go ahead." The business started slow, but soon they had their first customers. Sam's a couple who spent 5 days at Rod's homestead on their honeymoon. The honeymoon couple described the visit as, quote, like going back 100 years.
That's not fair because they had an inside toilet.
See,
And if
that
you look
would
back
not,
100 years ago,
that wouldn't draw me in. I'm sorry. I don't want to go back 100 years.
It wasn't the best way to start his bed and breakfast career, but Rod wasn't all that worried. He still had the buffalo farming plan to fall back on and saw it as the main way to secure his family's future. In 1989, to the world's
Is there a
great pleasure.
snicker at that?
huh?
No, that's me clearing my throat.
Oh, okay. Sorry. When you said he's still got his buffaloes to fall back on, it sounded like you laughed under your breath.
No.
Oh,
Like you bastard.
In 1989, to the world's great pleasure, Crocodile Dundee 2 was released. The
I
Northern
think Mr.
Territory.
Grant Gregory is a little protective of Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, it sounds
as he should be.
I mean,
When you
look,
find out at the ending, you'll understand why.
I feel like this is basically the Australian Braveheart, so they're going to be very protective.
You're wrong on that one. I'll tell you that.
No, I know the ending. I know the real life story, but
the Northern
Oh, don't spoil
Territory.
it, I haven't read it yet.
The Northern Territory government awarded Rod as Territorian of the Year.
What a great name for a award. Territorian of the Year.
Territorian of the Year. Okay.
Yep.
That's a weird
He
one.
won for inspiring Crocodile Dundee and inspiring thousands of new tourists to visit the Northern Territory and Australian outback.
is the Northern Territory like? I thought Australia had states. Do they not have states? Do they just have territories or provinces? What's the deal, Grant? He's just
All right, so
Well-
we have both. So we have our states, but we also have 2 territories. The Australian Capital Territory, which is where our capital is, and the Northern Territory, which is where nothing is. And they have completely separate rules to the Australian rules, because how it was originally written was basically these states have to abide by this, and they're going, well, we got territories, and the guy's like, well, I've already written states, I'm not changing it. So they get their own governance to a certain degree. So
Does that mean they still get to keep their guns?
everyone kept their guns.
I thought all the guns got taken.
No guns got taken. There was a voluntary buyback system where they would pay you 4 times what the guns were worth. People handed their guns and got the money and went and bought 4 guns. We've got more guns than people.
So do we.
I didn't know that.
Right after that, the Northern Territory government told Rod that he'd have to kill all of his buffalo.
Of course.
Tuberculosis was widespread in the wild buffalo populations of the Northern Territory, and the government was determined to wipe out the threat to livestock.
Yeah,
Then
that was
they
all bullshit
immediately
too.
yelled at the president for not lowering the cost of beef.
Buffalo
They were
coffee.
worried about the threat to livestock, so they were just going to kill all the livestock.
Let me translate. No, he was ordered to kill the wild buffalo. The threat to livestock was cows.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
So,
he had
okay.
about 3,500 head of buffalo that he had on his area.
but
Um,
he was gonna raise the buffalo.
Well, he was. That's how he was making his
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Until the tuberculosis.
Well, the thing of it is, so how it works up there is your products that you make, whether it's meat or anything, get taxed at a certain level. Buffalo, because it doesn't fall under the beef and culinary industries terminology, was tax exempt. So he was making all this money completely tax free. Didn't have to pay tax on any of it.
Was
government
he
didn't like that.
selling regular land-based buffalo, or was he selling buffalo wild wings?
Oh, that one was
Because
hurtful.
that's not classified as food.
Oh, that was
No.
painful, Slender.
But that, I
actually
mean,
caused physical pain.
so the government didn't compensate him for it though, because normally
Well, no,
Well,
because
maybe
if
we'll
they
find
order
out.
if they order a cull, you're supposed to get paid for that kind of stuff.
Maybe that would be.
yes, but because he was the custodian of the wild buffalo, they weren't technically domesticated. Therefore, when he
Oh,
was forced to kill
got it.
them, they weren't his property that he was killing.
Also, do you know how it takes 8 buffaloes for every buffalo wild wing? Just some numbers out there for you guys.
8 buffalo, like, man, Buffalo Bill Cody was doing it wrong. He was clearly.
No wonder they went extinct.
They're not extinct.
Yeah, they're
They're
just called
endangered.
bison now.
Yeah, we
Okay.
changed their name to bison, and people stopped.
Yeah, they were going to be
shooting 'em.
called. They were going to be called something like the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. They just changed it so they
Yep.
could get away with doing more stuff to it.
It was like
Exactly.
everybody wants to kill a buffalo, but no one wants to hunt a bison. So we're fine. Would you like to be, Bison Bill Cody? No.
They mandated that all pastoral leaseholders, including Rod, had to wipe out their feral buffalo populations living on their land and replace them with the domestic herds.
Feral buffalo. That
Rod
sounds-
was
just
livid.
Sounds funny.
Yeah, I kind of look at all buffalo being wild.
Grant, just to clarify, if he had replaced, according to what Imp was just saying, he was ordered to wipe out the wild and replace it with domesticated ones. It seems like they were unhappy with people who found a tax loophole and were
Yeah, that's
ordering
what I'm
them
hearing.
to cull all the herds that they weren't getting taxes on and buy ones that they did have to pay taxes on.
Wow, such a
Yeah, yeah. So
conspiratorial
how it
mind.
worked is you'd have to pay taxes on 1, purchasing them, 2, keeping them. Each year. When you sell them, you have a tax. This was before GST came in, which is an extra 10% on top. So yeah, it was purely and simply designed to go. You got to buy the domesticated ones, and during the time of the 80s, the only place that you could get them up in the Northern Territory was government run.
This sounds like a government conspiracy.
Yeah, so it's
if ever I
clearly
heard.
it was
Mm.
government
No,
conspiracy.
they were lungers.
Not all of them.
All right, Matt, I got to take off.
All right, brother.
Catch you guys later.
All
Good
right.
one.
Later.
See, talking about killing all these bulls and everything, and Brahma's getting us like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, let's get to the happy part of the story. Keep going.
He's got to go get some therapy.
Rod was livid because he thought it was a good waste. It was a waste of good stock. He said the money spent on the government program would be better spent on AIDS research, and they were letting meat rot that could have been sent to feed starving children in Africa.
True.
I don't
All
know.
Wait,
three
weren't there
solid
starving?
points.
Weren't there starving children in Australia that he was feeding? with
No, this was
meat?
the 90s.
No, you said it was the 80s.
This is the 80s.
Right after
Yeah, this is
89.
late
Sorry.
80s.
Sorry.
So he spent his days catching and killing the buffalo living on a station. At the same time, nearby grazers were given large government loans, but Rod said he was never compensated for his loss. Now he had no money to maintain his property, and invasive weeds began to take over. In 1991, the couple was forced to sell the cattle station. Shortly after losing their station, Rodney and Joanne divorced.
What a bitch.
Depressed, alone, and with no source of income, Rodney did what anyone would do and started growing marijuana.
Oh,
I mean-
hold on.
Did
That
what
bitch-
anyone would do.
Let's go over the fact that bitch was like, "When you're buffalo rich, I love you, but as soon as those buffalo are gone, I don't want you no
I'm
more."
out of here. Yeah.
I mean, we knew from the beginning she was a bison bitch to begin with, so that's the way
Yep,
that you roll.
exactly. She was.
She saw that indoor toilet and was like, "Ah, I'm living the good life now," and then it was taken from her.
Very soon after, Rod was convicted of stealing 30 cattle from a nearby station.
Oh,
But
he's
he
a
was-
cattle rustler now?
I thought they hanged people for that.
It's the 90s.
Not in the 90s. 1890s,
also-
sure.
1890s maybe, and also in Northern Territory, that's just a day job. Like, so.
We got lucky, apparently, Mad. Look at that.
Oh, really?
I think you would have to take his mod credentials if you did that.
I'm already doing it.
But he was not given a sentence. He was fined for assaulting the station manager who he had threatened with a meter-long steel bar. Rod spent the next few years drifting, doing odd jobs, and growing pot. He took a stab at suing the producers of Crocodile Dundee for royalties.
Good luck with that.
In 1996, Rod put an advertisement in the paper asking for help to break in horses. The ad was answered by Sherry Houston, a 25-year-old with a bachelor's of applied science who was a tour guide in the area. Sherry, quote, "I met him that day and went out to his camp and we stayed together. They were a very close couple attached to the hip. They lived together and started taking amphetamines together."
I see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's healthy.
As long as you don't abuse it, you have your prescription, everything's fine.
I don't think they have a prescription, Matt.
We don't know this. I don't know his doctor.
So how the Northern Territory health system works is you don't need prescriptions for anything.
Fuck, I gotta
And also,
Yeah,
meth
this
is
is
still
making
highly
better.
illegal. Yeah, but yeah,
Matt
that's
is like, I want to emigrate to the Northern Territory.
As long as I get an inside
no.
toilet.
Yeah, well, I mean, apart from the fact that like it gets to 50 degrees Celsius, so in
What's that in
yours,
real temperature?
Yeah, what's that in?
It's like 100 plus.
It is 122.
Fuck
Fuck
off.
that.
Is it a dry heat at least?
Well, yeah, because that's how hot it is. There's no moisture around. You're a dirt farmer for most of the time.
Well, I mean, that wouldn't be that much different. When you and Iraq, it got probably close to that, right?
I was in Baghdad. It was humid as a motherfucker. We're between the Euphrates and the Tigris.
Okay.
Yeah, well, this is in the middle of a desert country, so
Man,
because he was living in South. Yeah, he was living in almost like the middle of Australia at this point. Because he couldn't get land anywhere else, so he went and set up basically just his own little reservation on Aboriginal land, so they couldn't kick him off.
Oh, well, that made sense. That worked out.
So he went Dances with Wolves. He went full like native.
Yeah, Tatanka, yeah.
Yeah, Takonka.
Sherry described their perfect life. Quote, "We were living underneath a trucking tarp on the edge of a billabong. Paradise, luxury."
Hold on. They had those Billabong t-shirts too?
No, I think that's a surfboard, isn't it,
Yeah.
Grant?
Yeah.
These people just like to have shitty lives, apparently.
I think it's romanticizing the idea of just being free from the government. Everything is living out in the wilderness.
I can't wait to hear Slender's reaction to this next paragraph.
Okay.
Okay.
Rod realized that whenever Sherry's father came up in conversation, she would get very angry. So Rod encouraged her to explore why that was happening. Sherry slowly uncovered long repressed memories. Rod, she was finally able to confront the fact that she was a child of Freemasons.
Hold on.
What the fuck?
Oh,
Like,
it gets better. It gets better.
Wait.
Hold on.
Like, what is Freemason different in Australia than it is here? Like, is it code?
Oh no,
Yeah, it
no,
has
it's
to
the
be the
exact
same
same thing. It's Freemasons are a global thing.
Yeah, but they're just basically like a friggin' Elks Lodge. They go
Yeah.
in, they do their little secret handshake,
I
and then
almost
they just
joined
hang
them.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, but
No,
apparently everywhere they think that the Freemasons are actually a
Yes.
super secret society running the
Wait.
world from behind the scenes.
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but in
That's how we
law
got the Jewish
enforcement,
population in Australia.
in law enforcement and in the military, Freemasons are really big, right? So when I was a cop, I started to notice all these dudes like what up square, and they have like the little things that they do or whatever, and they're Freemasons. And so I talked to a dude about joining, but dude, there's so much volunteer work that they expect you to do. I'm like, fuck that shit.
Those
I'm not
goddamn-
joining to
those
give back
cons-
to my community.
Yeah,
I'm
those
joining
evil
to-
Freemasons. What do
No,
they do?
I'm not joining to give back to my community. I'm joining to benefit myself and and raise
Enrich your
my
wallet.
my
Matt goes to
standings
the
in the department.
Matt goes to the initiation meeting and he's like, "Okay, so when do we do that eyes wide shut like cult shit?" And they're like, "No, we expect you to volunteer, like to feed the homeless." And he's like, "Oh, you can fuck right off."
So yeah. So what am I supposed to do with the child I brought to be sacrificed?
Feed it.
Is there a fire department nearby I could drop it off? There's no there's not an age limit there, is it?
Over many
So
nights.
her dad was a good person who did a lot of volunteer work. Is
Yes.
what she was saying.
Oh, Free Madsons. I like that
Oh,
one.
nice.
That's
Yeah.
a good.
Leave it to
That would
soul
be a good
assassin.
conspiracy theory stream name.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd be stepping on Scott on that.
Over many nights, Sherry revealed to Rod how her grandparents, aunts, uncles, and parents were all Freemasons. Even she had been initiated as a Freemason at the age of 8-year-olds in a ceremony they had her do by drinking the blood of a human sacrifice in the Freemasons' Hall of Warrigal.
Bullshit.
Never has a Freemason ever had to drink the blood of anybody.
Is that her?
Yeah, that's her. So
Where's the
that's
part
their
where
oven.
where's the meth that they're obviously
Dude,
cooking?
this is a 20-something-year-old sociopath on drugs making up bullshit stories to try and get attention.
Or Rod
You just don't
unlocked
believe
these hidden
anyone
memories?
Australian, do you?
Hold on. When did
Wow.
Amber Heard start dating Rod?
Later, she would recall, quote, "We only had one initiation ceremony. But when my grandfather died, I can remember 2 girls being taken out into the woods and sacrificed.
With one
They
cup?
staked them out like a square out crucifix position. They tortured them and have a picnic in the woods."
Bullshit. Oh my god. No.
This is
What?
clear.
No.
I think she watched a Mad Max movie.
Yeah.
No,
When
that's
she
what
was
you
little.
do. Guys, Freemasons, you go, you sacrifice a couple kids, so it's like when in Yellowstone, right? When they had to bury a horse so that the kid's spirit could ride free or some shit. Same thing in the Freemasons. It's when the grandfather dies, you have to get a couple girls to go with it, and then you have a picnic.
It sounds like
fucking
This is all
stupid.
legit.
No, Grant. I'm not going on this journey.
You're here, buddy.
You sound like you've been bought by the your family Freemasons, by the way.
Yeah.
This is really weird. This is the line that you're drawing in the
I
sand.
don't-
Did
I
Big
don't
Freemason
think so.
come and pay you off?
Big
If
Mason.
my family is Freemasons,
Mm.
apparently I was deemed unworthy because I never got invited to join.
You can't be invited. I think you have to ask.
Slender's
I think
gonna
that's
be
part of the
like,
deal.
Dad, why wasn't I worthy of being initiated and being around the child sacrifices you guys were?
Because of the picnic, son. You're lactose intolerant. We we're gonna
We
make a
ma-
special picnic meal.
No,
just for
we
you.
Masons have one rule. We only sacrifice children in Australia.
At the risk of of getting called out for something, my mom was a member of the BPOE,
The what?
the Benevolent Protective Order of Elks.
Oh.
I don't know what that is.
The
They
The
Elks.
have-
Elks Lodge.
Oh, okay, so not elks.
Like, the ones who wear the hats?
Yeah. Not
It's-
actual elks.
No, it's basically the ones that the Flintstones made fun of
Yeah.
in the cartoon.
And they
Yeah,
they
with the
always
grand
ride around in the
poobah.
little go-karts.
Yeah.
That's
No,
the
that's the-
Shriners.
That's the Shriners.
I mean, so far as I remember, the only thing the Elks did was play euchre and drink.
That's what
all these
yeah,
people. Yeah.
That's like after you're initiated in the Masons, what are we gonna do? We're gonna drink some beer.
Yeah.
We're gonna drink beer and play poker.
Also,
It's
you
like-
got to do volunteer work this week.
And that's why no one believed this girl when she started telling this story, because even in Australia, they're like, no. Like,
Well, hold on now. Maybe she has some proof or something. Keep going.
Evidence? Yeah, I can't wait.
When she was 15.
When she was 15, Sherry said she had angered the Freemasons, so her parents tied her hands behind her back, put a black hood over her head, and staked her out in the woods. Sherry
Yet
was
here
very
she
grateful.
is.
Yeah. Sherry was very grateful that Rod had helped her uncover these previously repressed memories. Quote, "Yeah, that's it. That's just information that Rod and I have been putting together, working through. 17 flashbacks and stuff, and my memories and the memory recall, because you suffer so much trauma, it comes in bits and pieces. And it's a
That's how
matter
the
of putting it
Freemasons get
together."
ya.
you
Yeah.
know,
See,
some
Paul Slender's
people,
forgot all the bad shit that's happened to him, and now he thinks they're great.
yeah, some people might say that when you take LSD and it fries your brain, it could come in bits and pieces like that. But no.
Well, you
We're
have to have
just,
somebody
What are you, a
like
chemist?
it's like the breadcrumbs that Q drops. You have to have somebody to bake them. Rod was her baker.
Oh, he was
Yeah,
cooking.
all
I
the
mean,
time.
he
Cooking
was
that
definitely
meth.
cooking.
Hey, I was gonna say he's cooking more so than bacon, but it ain't food.
No, cooking's different to baking. Very different.
And it's a matter of putting it together, and it's not like you will remember it all at once. And I know it sounds like manipulation or mind manipulation or whatever, but the memories are mine, and the nightmares that come, well, nobody can give you nightmares.
True.
The quality and clarity of
That's
what I
not
had
true
with,
at all. That's so
Yeah.
not. You can give yourself nightmares, and it doesn't necessarily have to be related to anything.
Yeah,
You
but they're
could've-
her memories.
You
I
could have
was
put
playing- I
things
was playing
away in a
Minecraft the other
file
day,
cabinet
and then
had
had
a
a
nightmare
Minecraft
about a
nightmare.
file cabinet later.
Great. If I have a file cabinet nightmare, I'm going to find where you live, and I'm going to get you and your Freemason family.
Yeah,
I
man,
hope
you
you
just
do.
planted that seed in my head.
Yeah. That's how they get you.
Oh, it's gonna eat me.
the quality and the clarity of what I had with being out in the woods.
Very articulate. Seems believable.
Yeah,
In late
very
July 1999, Rod was at his camp when he saw 3 hunters nearby. The men were carrying bows, wearing camouflage gear, and happened to have night vision goggles. Obviously, these were
No, that's
Freemasons
bullshit.
coming to kill
No,
Sherry.
this is where I draw the line. You can't
Mhm.
see people in camouflage gear. Ridiculous.
They were Freemasons coming to
Oh.
kill,
Sherry, because yes, he unlocked the secrets of their ceremonies.
and they knew because of the chip that they had put in her brain.
I mean, your
No,
words,
this is
not
the
mine,
early-
but it makes
this-
sense.
no.
Freemasons
didn't have
aren't that
chips then.
technologically advanced. See, he's trying to throw us off with fake news.
Yeah, big Mason.
I gotta
Rod's
protect the
son-
order.
Rod's son Callum was away from the camp at the time, and Rod had obviously become concerned for his safety.
Wait,
Rod
when
then
did he
sent-
have kids?
He had two with
he had two
with
kids with
Joanne.
his previous missus.
The
Oh,
one
she's
who
only
left
the
him after the
stepmom. They're not
bison
gonna
and
care.
were gone, right? To Buffalo.
She was all about the bison bucks, didn't even care about the kids.
Yep.
She didn't leave. She didn't take the kids with her. She was just
Nope.
like, "Peace out, leave the kids."
No, she was like,
Oh.
"Bye, son."
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. She was probably as good a person as he is.
she was the Marshall Lucas of this soul scenario.
I know I'm
Mm,
the
I
only one that
definitely know who that is
appreciated
without
it
Googling
in
them.
no, I
That
know I'm
was,
the only one that
George
appreciated
Lucas's
it
wife.
in the moment, but Grant, that was good.
Yay.
Rod then sent Sean to look for Callum. Sean did not come back. It was obvious that the Freemasons had captured Sean and Callum and were
Boom.
getting ready to come for Rod
Obvious.
and Sherry. So
No,
Rod
what
and Sherry,
happened is Sean and Callum went out there and were like, "Our dad is a fucking nut job. He brought this other woman home. She's even more of a fucking nut job than him. Please get us out of here."
Oh, and it was just a coincidence that they ran into the Freemasons. Right.
Mhm.
True. Yeah.
So Rod and Sherry decided to leave the camp and head into the nearby town to try to find Sean and Callum. First, they stopped at their friends, the Barlows, in Humpty Doo. You fucking Australians in the
That
name of your
can't be a real
towns.
name.
Grant? Humpty Doo?
What's wrong with Humpty Doo?
Look,
real
there's a town called Intercourse, Pennsylvania. I don't think we can make fun of Humpty
I mean,
Doo.
you have a lake that's named after like poo and boobs. It's weird.
What?
What
What?
lake?
Like Titicaca.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
that's-
yeah.
Okay.
That's also in
I'll give
Peru.
you that.
Yeah, that's in Peru. I knew that too. Mm.
I see what you did, Grant, taking advantage of our American geography education.
Are you mixing up Lake Titicaca with Lake Minnetonka? 'Cause
That
that's
was a
in Minnesota.
Minnetonka. And you say we have weird names.
It's Algonquin for the good land.
I mean, you can't really argue with some of the naming conventions. They do have Death Swamp.
In Victoria, we have a town called Batman.
Oh, do y'all have a Batman, a Legend of a Dude Batman?
Yeah, but he's from Western Australia.
Okay, sorry.
I feel like that's a future episode. Stop stepping on it, man.
Burn
We
all
told
the
them-
content.
The real Batman.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I gotta
We
make a
told
note.
them we had lost.
You won't like the story of the real Batman. He actually ended up getting on meth and getting into a shootout with police.
Isn't that like every Australian though?
No, you don't know. Let's keep
At
going.
least one.
We told them we had lost Sean and Callum. We had sent Sean up to Darwin to get Callum and bring him back, but the people who were chasing me, the Freemasons, we thought had kidnapped them, and we asked Goldie if he would swap cars with us so they wouldn't recognize our vehicle. For
Smart.
some weird reason, Goldie Barlow decided not to swap cars with them.
So they just abandoned the kids and were like,
No,
"Oh,
they're trying-
Freemasons got them."
Oh my gosh, it's just a coincidence that they happen to run into Freemasons and get kidnapped.
So they went to another nearby friend named Toyman. Fucking Mad Max land over there.
Well, I mean, that's
Toyman
his
also
given
did not
name.
want to swap vehicles. After
Why?
that, they drove. After that, doesn't say. After
I
that,
think
they
we know
drove.
why.
Yeah.
He's too
Because
high
they
as
were
fuck.
driving a pile of shit, and we're like, "Hey, you should swap that Corvette with us."
Yeah.
No, it's just because we don't want to be followed. They know what our car looks like. Your car's a piece of shit. I'm not changing vehicles with you.
After that, they drove to Milner to the house of Sean's girlfriend, Tamara. They thought Tamara's father was a Freemason. The couple sat there and waited, keeping the house under surveillance until dawn. On Monday, the 2nd of August, they knocked on the door and asked for Tamara. They were told she was not there, so they went into some bushes near the property and watched the house for the rest of the day, but nothing happened.
That was after they had already been watching the house like the previous day, and now they're like, okay, she's not here. We're gonna go hide in the bush.
So, and this is proof that drugs make you paranoid. I don't think any of this ever really happened.
Oh no, all of this
You sound
happened.
pretty paranoid about that.
Okay.
So later in the afternoon, Rod and Sherry drove out to the home of Stuart, a friend and doctor. Nobody was home, so of course Rod and Sherry broke in. They didn't think it was a problem to break in because they were used to being allowed in the house.
True. Once you let somebody into your house, they are allowed. Therefore, in continuity, continue
Incongruity.
incongruity.
You
Therefore-
only
Yeah, I
have
mean,
to
it's-
invite
it's
Dracula
the vampire
in
rule of
once.
entry.
Yep.
Yeah,
Next
any
time he can
vampire.
just come in.
Yeah. Watch True Blood.
They didn't think it was a problem, but normally the stewards left them a key, just not this time. Inside, Sherry got some water out of the refrigerator, but something was off. She felt strange after drinking the water. She concluded the water was drugged.
No, or
Oh,
it was
a
probably
trap.
it was the first time she's drank anything like water in days.
She's like, this water is purified. My system is rejecting it.
Purified like the pure blood of the Freemasons. Oh my god. they're gross.
Then Rod drank some milk. Sure enough, he felt strange too. The milk had been poisoned. They started to inspect the house for other sinister signs. The whole couch is poisoned, and they found him. The dog was
Well, it
locked in
makes
a
sense.
shed.
The guy was a doctor. He was a chemist. Who's the best person to poison you?
True. If Freemasons are gonna poison you, they're gonna put it on somewhere they know you're gonna sit down. The couch.
Mm-hmm.
Let it soak through your skin.
The dog was locked in a shed. Photos were missing. The bed was unmade. The kitchen was unusually dirty. They tried to use the phone unsuccessfully. That's a hell of a drug. There was only one conclusion to reach. This was the work
were
of the
these old
Freemasons.
rotary phones? That would be hard to do if you were all fucking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how you would have been, yes.
This was all the work of the Freemasons. Like the whole house was set up.
Rod and Sherry then borrowed 2 medical kits from Stewart's house.
Smart.
They thought they might find Sean and Callum before they were killed by the Freemasons, but they would have definitely been tortured.
True.
So they left that home and went to another couple they were friends with, Steve Robinson and
Why was none
Leanne
of this
Musgrave.
in the Crocodile Dundee movie?
It would have made a better movie.
I think they did that in the sequel with the cartels.
Okay.
Steve Robinson and Leanne Musgrave, who lived in a caravan. When they got there, they were disturbed to see a large gray van near the property. They went inside to warn their friends. Inside the caravan, you guys, this is going to sound crazy. We just drank poisoned milk and the Freemasons are trying to kill everyone.
That doesn't sound crazy at all. Tell me what can we do for you?
No, don't worry about who I'm calling. I'm listening. Keep talking.
You said that like you know exactly how that scenario plays out.
No. Those sirens aren't for you. Those sirens are for the neighbor.
Inside the caravan, Steve and Leanne offered them food and they sat down with them. Then Sherry drank some Coke and got that old spinning feeling. Rod immediately realized that this food and drink had been drugged. It's all been drugged. So he picked up his rifle and he went out to check around the property.
Smart.
Rod then came back in and asked Steve to come outside with them. He didn't want to talk inside because the caravan was probably bugged.
It would have been. If the Freemason has been setting up all this poisonous traps for you, it's bugged.
This is insanity.
The Masons, man. Like of all the groups to pick.
The
Then
most
he
believable
explained,
one.
yeah. Then he explained everything that had been going on: the Freemasons' hunting party near the camp,
Yep.
how his sons had been kidnapped,
Yep.
weird conditions of Stewart's house. And then Rod remembered something else. A man approached Rod at the station and said if he ever wanted to see his kids again, he would have to swap Sherry for him.
Oh,
Boom.
he just remembered that. Huh?
Boom. Look at
Mhm.
that, Slender. Direct contact with Freemasons.
Rod begged Steve and Leanne.
No. Come. Pause.
What?
He remembers direct contact.
Yeah.
Do we have any confirmation of this?
His
Yeah,
memory.
he just told you.
So
Like,
fucking. I hate you. I hate you.
Rod begged Steve and Leanne to flee before whoever was in the gray van came for them. Steve seemed pretty shaken, but for some strange reason, Steve and Leanne decided to stay.
That's on them then. Whatever happens to them, that is on them. They should have left with them.
Rod and Sherry then left. Quickly, they started arguing about what to do. Rod wanted to go back and protect Steve and Leanne. Sherry was against that idea. Then Rod jumped out of the car and ran back to the caravan. When they got there, he aimed and fired 5 shots at the home. He wanted to scare his friends into leaving the house.
Boom. That's a good friend.
sharing is caring.
I mean, sometimes if your friends won't leave when you tell them that you're being hunted by Freemasons and everything in their house has been poisoned, you're going to have to shoot at them to make sure they know how serious the situation really is.
You're missing the point. He wanted to make sure that they were armed. He was just passing them the bullets, but in an aggressive manner. That was they just missed, yeah.
True.
As everyone knows, if someone shoots you and they miss, you can always pick up the bullet and load it into your gun.
True.
That's exactly right, because I've seen on CNN and TV when it things, the whole casing and everything flies with it.
Still at the car, Sherry heard Rod yell to her to run, so she took off, driving south to Acacia. There she hitched a ride to Queensland. Neighbors heard the gunfire. One of them, David Hobden.
Queensland, not Queensland.
Yes, Queensland. I wasn't going to correct him.
Neighbors heard the gunfire. One of them, David Hobden, climbed into his truck and drove to investigate the shots. Well, I've been living out here for 7 years, 8 years, and there's been shooting out there over the years, every year or two. So when I heard the shots, I just thought I'd wave straight over and make sure everything was all right. But everything
Just
was
another
really not
Freemason
all right.
Doing Freemason things.
Rod saw Hobden's truck coming and aimed. When the truck stopped, he shot at it. The bullet smashed the windshield. Hobden was showered with broken glass and could not see. He stumbled out of his truck and crawled towards the house of neighbor Brian Williams. Williams saw this.
This guy was a Freemason too, right?
Why did he drive up so aggressively?
Williams saw this and ran out of his house to help Hobden get to cover. As Williams got close to Hobden, Rod started yelling at them. Quote from Hobden: "This bloke was yelling out shit about Freemasons and crazy shit like that."
Yep.
Rod then ran to Hobden's truck, climbed in, and tried to start it. At that point, Williams reached Hobden and saw his bloody mess of a face and lost his shit. Williams picked up a baseball bat and runs to the truck. Williams, quote, "You maggot."
What was he doing with a baseball bat? Shouldn't it have been a cricket
bat?
I mean, to me, that's the most suspicious thing. The fact that, like, one, you're in the Northern Territory, there's no baseball stadiums anywhere around. I mean, except for in South Australia, just below the border, they actually have one that's owned by the Freemasons.
No, really? Wow. What do you think about that, Slender?
I think that's kind of normal. This is not.
Yes,
Williams,
it's normal
quote,
for Freemasons
Don't you put
to buy
this
up a lot
on
of
me.
stuff. Correct, I agree.
I'm not the crazy one here.
Williams,
Sure.
quote, "You maggot, come on. You maggot, come on. You gutless maggot, show yourself."
That was some
William-
really great quoting.
Yeah. Williams got to the truck and
definitely feel the Australian anger in that.
Yeah.
Williams got to the truck and swung the baseball bat at Rod. Rod reached over and picked up the double-barrel shotgun and shot Williams' hand off.
Ugh.
Jeez, I don't like this guy.
Who? Williams? I don't either. Why did he
I
fucking
like
charge him
Williams.
with a baseball bat?
Oh my gosh.
Because he's Freemason.
But when Williams tried to open the truck door, he found it was very hard to do without a hand.
That's right. See, he's dumb.
Williams ran back into his house and hopped in. Rodney then just started shooting at the house, firing through the walls, the back door, and the floor. How many rounds is this
Did
fucker
you notice
got
that
on
he
him?
wasn't aiming at anyone? He was firing at the house, just
To
firing
scare
warning
them.
shots.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
give like, hey guys, the Freemasons are here with baseball bats. I saw one of their hands off.
He looked just like my friend who was not a Freemason.
Inside the house where
how
Hopton
you
was
know
with
he's
his wife and their
Freemason.
daughter, they tried to take cover as best as possible. Thankfully, no one was hit by a bullet and the shooting finally stopped. Rod tried to get the truck going, but couldn't because there was a secret lock on the handbrake.
So distrustful, these Freemasons.
So when
you
you're
know
doing
they're a
shady
Mason?
things like that, you got to take precaution.
Why
They
else
don't
would they
dress
have a
like-
secret lock on the handbrake if they weren't Freemasons?
To keep the car from. Never mind.
So he ran away on foot, taking his rifle and shotgun. Police were then called and they set up roadblocks on the Stewart Highway and other nearby roads for 30 a.m.
I don't know
At
what
a
it
ro-
means.
Wait, sorry, for what? Say that
I
again,
don't know what it
please.
It doesn't matter. We can keep moving.
For 30 a.m.
Yeah, that's whatever. Look, I missed a couple things.
I'm
Some
always
things go through
awake
the
at
crack.
30 a.m. I hope you can get some more sleep though.
At a roadblock, truck driver Andrew Catchell had pulled over to wait out the police action. After a half hour, he felt his truck rock. He looked out the window into the darkness but saw nothing. Then in his mirror, he saw a man in dark clothing standing on top of the fuel tank behind his truck cabin, swaying from side to side.
Imagine. You're a truck driver and you see some figure on the back of your truck swaying back and forth like a lunatic.
This is
Captain-
special
Ye-
kind of crazy.
Officer
Yeah, you're
Matt's
oh,
like,
shit,
I'm gonna
Freemasons have got me.
have to do a field sobriety test on this one. I think
We don't have them over here.
you don't do field sobriety tests.
No,
No, that's an
What do you-
American thing. It's
no, we
from
we
the
rely on
highway
science.
patrol.
Oh,
People.
okay. That is true. It is better to actually just do the blood test or breathalyzer.
Okay. Catchell called his wife, whispering to her what he had seen, and she called the police. The police went to the area and immediately swarmed over the truck. And as this is happening, Catchell was sitting in his truck a little bit away, watching the police swarm all over the wrong truck.
Maybe if he would have called instead of having his wife call them. He
So-
calls his wife like, "Hey, there's some crazy guy on the back of my truck. You should call the police."
Yeah, they said describe the truck, and she went, "Oh, well, it's really clean because he keeps it clean. It's nice, and it's
It's spacious.
All the wrong
Yeah.
details for them to identify it.
Is it an 18-wheeler? Oh no, I think it's only got 9 on one side. So yeah, 9-wheeler.
So then Catchell called the police headquarters, which he should have done in the first place.
Yep.
And told them they were at the wrong truck. By the time the police got to the right truck, the intruder had disappeared. Police searched the area but could find no sign of Rod, but he was very close. Over the next few hours, he slowly and discreetly moved to a spot 20 meters away from the roadblock.
So, real quick,
Wait, how did he call the cops from his truck?
it's 1999.
Yeah, Northern Territory didn't get any cell phone reception until into the 2000s.
Freemasons.
Hmm.
This could have been
Zach's-
2000.
If he had one of them Zach Moore's phones, he
Yeah.
probably could have made the
My
call.
dad had one that had the bag.
Or
Of
a
course, in
satellite
1999,
phone.
I think I had a phone.
Oh no, they definitely had satellite phones because remember in Congo, they had satellite phones in Congo.
Yeah, definitely.
And
And
he's
since he was a
exactly
truck driver.
he's exactly the type who would have one of those really expensive high tech
Mhm.
devices in 19.
Most Freemasons do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Real quick. So, my ex brother-in-law, one time he ran from the. So he got arrested. I forgot what he got arrested for, right? But he kind of freaked out. He was a vet. Kind of freaked out. Kicked the window out of the back of the police, the patrol car, crawled out, and for days was off in the woods of East Texas, avoiding the cops in handcuffs. It was weird. Anyway, go on. I kind of get this part.
Where was I? He laid down in light scrub, his dark clothing blending in with the shadow of the trees. Between him and the road lay a low dirt ridge and a large water pipe. 6 hours later, at 10:30 a.m., Jonathan Anthony's mover was chatting with two police at the roadblock. At this point, Jonathan Anthony Houston and Senior Constable James Joseph O'Brien We're
Those are
relaxed
some
'cause-
fucking names.
right? We're relaxed because it was 6 hours since the sighting of the police. Since the sighting, the police believe the shooter had long since moved on. The officers were sitting on folding plastic chairs, and O'Brien was no longer wearing his bulletproof vest.
I forgot about the plastic chairs. You're all right. You're on the hunt for this guy, and you're out there on folding chairs, just bullshitting. Oh, I love it.
Then came the totally unexpected Ron Ansel ambush. He opened fire. The first shot hit Anthony, who dropped to the ground screaming. Officer O'Brien was trying to figure out where the shots came from, so he asked Anthony, "Where were you hit?" And Anthony screamed that he'd been shot in the ass.
It happens.
It happened to a friend of mine. At that moment,
Yeah, me too.
O'Brien saw a scruffy-haired figure with a beard and fluffy green jumper crawling up the nearby ridge. He could see the man's rifle barrel. O'Brien fired 4 or 5 shots at Rod, who then ducked down behind the ridge. Sergeant Houston fired his shotgun through the truck cab, shattering one of the car's windows as he did so. O'Brien continued shooting his pistol at Rod. Then Sergeant Houston spun around, clutching his stomach, and fell to the ground.
All right. I got it. I'm gonna have to wrap this up a little quicker than what I wanted to, so I'm just gonna speed through this. So they're shooting back and forth, right? Let's see here. The other officers arrived to join the firefight. He focused, targeted Rod, and fired off 3 shots. In the shooting stopped. Rod Ansel was dead. Jonathan Anthony survived. Sergeant Glenn Houston died almost immediately. Terry Houston turned herself in to police custody in Brisbane. Said it correctly. Look at me. Eventually being released. Rod Ansel had 33 gunshot wounds.
It's not Brisbane? Or is it
Yeah.
Brisbane?
33 gunshot wounds. He had 30 injuries in only 3 exits.
Well, it was a shotgun blast. I mean, that's right.
No.
It was-
No. The cops were shooting him.
I know. It
Well,
said that.
at least he died fighting the evil Freemason.
There was Glocks being used, all kinds of stuff. It even says like the dude shot his Glock off like 3 more times. It wasn't just, not everybody had a shotgun shooting at him.
No, but he got shot by a shotgun. All his injuries were caused by shotgun pellets.
That's not true.
It's in the police report.
Is it really?
Yes. An autopsy of Ansel's remains showed he had suffered
Why are
30
you looking
entry
at
wounds
internet
or
shit?
grazes.
No wonder
all
you
caused
haven't
by
been-
shotgun pellets.
This is why I hate you having that, because you're not participating. You're Googling shit.
It's Freemason behavior.
We got a fucking liberal fact checker up in this bitch.
2 years later, on April 18th, 2001, Crocodile Dundee 3, Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles, was released. The budget was $25 million. It grossed $39 million. The film has ranked 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
So
can't
we're
remember they
saying
made
that
a
the
third
magic of Crocodile Dundee died with Rod and the movie wasn't successful because 1 and 2 did really well.
I don't even remember there being a third one.
Oh, there's a third one.
Oh boy, it sounds like that might be something we have to watch someday.
Yep.
Crocodile Dundee 3.
All right,
no,
well-
it's so bad.
Imp, I really appreciate you reading it. Thank you very much. You won't be doing
Yeah,
it
no
next
problem,
time,
brother.
though.
Who to what now? What was that last part?
We'll be trying out somebody else next time. So if we'll see who it is. What's this?
So this website went public the day after he was killed. Coincidence?
Boom.
Not.
What do you think about that, Slender?
We've taken out the one man who can stop us. Launched
I
the
mean,
website.
Clearly, this one man who tested positive for massive amounts of amphetamines was really the threat.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being tested positive for amphetamines.
Massive amounts of amphetamine.
That, yeah, it's all right. Matthew Berry was in it. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us next time. Until next time, Peppy. I don't have an ending yet, but man, I don't know what we're gonna do next. We may do. I'll figure something out.
What does EPAP stand for?
Oh, every paragraph a pause.
I don't think we made it through a whole paragraph. So yeah, that's accurate.
Anybody got anything to say before I kick it?
Yeah. So Freemasons killed an Australian hero. So watch out if you're a hero in your country. Look out for the Freemasons. They come to Australia because that's where they mean business.
They'll
Just
plant
like the
amphetamines
animals.
in your blood system.
They'll drug
Oh,
the
yeah.
food of a friend's house so that you go there
Yeah,
and eat it.
never sit on a friend's couch because it's probably laced.
Yep. All right, that's it. See y'all. Oh, and enjoy the new rendition of the Law Dog outro. You're welcome.
Bye.
A Machiavelli production.
Listen now, Mr. Kansas Law Dog. Law don't go around here. Savvy? Yeah. Yeah, that's real good, Law Dog, because law just don't go around here.
They keep on calling me, want me to put it down. Oh, baby, run to me, don't go from smile to frown. Hey, Law Dog, law don't go around here. And I say, hey, Law Doggy, law don't go around here. You're no daisy at all. And I say, hey, Law Doggy, law don't go around here. You're no daisy at all.
I want you to know it's over.